What are the top 10 most powerful, interesting cards out of Cyberstorm Access? Don't beg 30% of you that have not smashed the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Number one on the list here is going to be the Gold Pride Pinballer. Now, I argued between this and Quem being number 10 on the list because I think Quem is a little bit better of a card than this. But in terms of boss monsters and how Konami actually tries to, include more unique ways to handle situations, effects that cannot be negated are typically kind of interesting. My only disappointment is this boss monster isn't having better support around it. Actually, I do think that the card is incredibly useful, but the method to make it isn't exactly going to end up being the craziest in my personal opinion. But between this and Quem, I think they're fantastic examples of base level support that you can kind of add into archetypes to make them stronger. You know what I mean? So yeah, Pinball we're going to put down here at number 10 just to kind of give a good basis to what we can expect out of this set. Next up is Vicious Astroud. Now, the Vicious Astroud himself isn't honestly that crazy. It's a fusion monster that you can bring out by banishing the fusion materials, and then it can be destroyed by battle, sure. And then if special summon, you can target a monster on the field, destroy it, and it gains attack. Well, okay, maybe that's a little bit good, but it specifically names Vice's Starfrost in the name, which opens up an entire interesting paradigm of being able to play more specific named fusion support in your deck, like a Hero Lives into Prisma, because when you make a super powered monster like this for an entire archetype, guess what? It opens up the doors to some pretty interesting things. So now that we have a specifically named boss monster that we can actually just summon at the end of a full combo line and turn our Prisma into a, Link 1 to be able to go ahead and kind of play the rest of the game, that's actually pretty good. So, card's amazing. Next up is Lulu Wallace. So this is the new level 4 tuner plus a non-tuner to make this amazing card. Once per turn, if a card leaves from the extra deck, except during damage step, you can make all monsters you currently control gain 500 attack points permanently, then you can negate that effect. If it's sent to the graveyard because it was sent through this turn, you can special summon one light spellcaster monster from your hand or deck whose attack equals its defense. You wanted a card that you could drop from the extra deck to generate some extra free advantage. Well, right here is what you actually have. Gondala needed a power card in order to kind of help out with the combo lines here, and that's what we're going to get with this. I think that this card, for what it actually adds into the deck, is incredibly amazing. And just for a generic dump target, you gotta love generic power-ups like this. I would argue that this is about on the same level as Vicious Astroud. And then there's Albion, the Sanctifier Dragon. Please ban Expulsion. Yeah, we get Expulsion on an extra deck card that we can access at any point in time. So Fallen Valbus plus a spellcast monster cannot be used as fusion material. Your opponent cannot target this card with card effects, and you can only use each of the following effects of Albion, the Dragon, once per turn. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can target 2 monsters in any graveyard. Special summon both monsters, 1 to each field. And if this card is in your graveyard, contribute 4 monsters. The 2 in the extra monster zones and 2 in the central monster zones. And if you do, special summon this card. Yeah, look, it's Expulsion on a monster that literally can't be stopped because it can't be targeted. Yeah, and everybody wants Expulsion banned because we're just going to get an upgraded version of it here. Well, congratulations. Having an extra deck resource that you can just toggle through, punish your opponent for, is the by far definition upgrade of that. So we're putting this here because you gotta love Expulsion upgrades, don't ya? Next up is going to be Bysteel, the Dragon of Craziness. And, had Bysteels actually stuck around as, better crazy cards, I could have seen this card being a lot crazier. The fact that it's also locked behind a dragon monster to make this, generic non-tuner plus a non-tuner dragon, really helps. You can target a Banished Light or Dark monster, special summon it to your field. Oh boy, that's pretty good. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can target 1 banished card, shuffle into the deck. Then if your opponent shuffled into the deck, destroy the monster. And then if your opponent shuffled into the deck, negate that activated effect. You know, for a 3500, this dragon is actually pretty big for its thing. I think that this will still impact the game on a pretty large scale, because what the dragon is adding into the fire is another level 10 that decks will be able to have access to. So that's actually pretty good. Next up is Sakitama. Sakitama is one of the craziest cards in this set, only because its effect is so basic. Yeah, it can't be special summon. Once per turn during the end phase, it will go back to the hand if it was normal or special. And then you can use the effect of this. You can reveal it in your hand immediately after the effect resolves. You can normal summon one spirit monster from your hand. And then if this card is distributed, you can target one spirit monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. But the biggest thing you care about with this is a level 4 spirit monster that can additionally normal summon itself. We're in the era right now where getting additional monsters onto the field to do exceed summons is actually very, very important. This, combined with any other Exosister, essentially gets you full combo to be able to make Magnifica, and that's actually pretty important at the end of the day. So Spirit Support actually got some pretty big W's out here, just in the form of Sakitama, literally one of the best cards in the entire set. Next up is Chaos Angel. Oh boy. Talk about a insane card. Remember, this is a 1 tuner plus 1 non-tuner light or dark. And for this card, Sync or Summon, you can treat any light or dark monster you control as a tuner. That line makes this card crazy. Alright, if this card is special summon, target one card on the field, banish it, and then this card will gain effects based on the original attributes of material for its Synchro Summon. So if you use a light, Synchro monsters you control are unaffected by monster effects activated by your opponent. And dark, monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. What happens if you use a light and a dark monster to make this? You get all of your monsters that are synchros unaffected by monster effects, and they can't be destroyed by battle. 3,500 is huge, by the way. You're going to have an issue dealing with that in itself. And I think a lot of people are, once they kind of start to see Labyrinth have access to a boss monster that they can just pull out of nowhere, a lot of people are going to be shocked Pikachu-faced. Next up is Sleepy Memory. Oh boy, this card is the nuts. So, activate it, then you can discard a card. Then you get special summon standard level 1 purely from the deck. And then the effect that it applies is the next battle or effect damage you would take this turn becomes 0. And the purely monster gains the effect of once per turn during your opponent's standby phase. You can draw a card. Well, you know, getting the ability to stack 3 of these up on a little guy and draw 3 cards during your opponent's turn. What's that? I just drew into Hand Trap. Oh, sorry. You know, it really... When you can get cards like this that are recurable assets back in, and when you can supply a deck with an entire draw engine just slapped underneath a monster that's literally unaffected, you have a lot to really be shocked about. And I do think that this is by far one of the best cards in the entire set because of what it does. And then we got Purely Lily over here. On normal or special summon, adds any Purely card from your deck to your hand, except for a quick play spell. Okay, so they were at least a little bit fair in that regard. You can target one Purely quick play spell in your graveyard, special summon one Exceed monster that mentions it from your deck by using this face-up card as material, and if you do, attach that target, the special summon monster as an additional material. And then, of course, this is treated as an Exceed summon. And, of course, it's 100. I mean, it's on special summon. Go ahead and pull anything that you really want from your deck. That's actually pretty good. We did need an additional named monster. The fact that they actually gave us one more Purely upped the consistency of the deck by a lot, because now you went from 3 targets to 6, and that changes everything for how this deck was actually functioning. It'd be like if Eldritch actually got another main deck monster, and how much more that you'd actually be able to add into that. And I think the best card in the set is actually Super Heavy Samurai Prodigy. The Universal, go ahead and set another Super Heavy into your Pendulum Zone. My absolute favorite, as long as you have none. Sure, I'll take amazing generic cards, and then you can special summon this card. Okay, sure. And then if you have no spell and traps in graveyard, you can discard one special summon Super Heavy monster from your hand or deck in defense position, and then you get locked into Super Heavy Samurais for the rest of the turn. But it is whatever. But if this card is used as synchro material and added to the extra monster zone face up, you can place this card in your pendulum zone. Universal pendulum scales, the absolute thing that I didn't know that we needed in the game for literally no downside. Delicious. So what do you guys think about the top 10 cards out of this set? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.